I absolutely despise when people try to use video games or media as like some kind of, some grounds, some kind of base for arguing that somebody likes something, or that somebody wants to do something, or that something is a good thing, or that we should be doing it. For example, they say violent video games, you don't make kids violent. But what they don't argue are violent movies or violent books make kids violent. Because you can read a lot of books of people murdering motherfuckers all the time. You can read a lot of fucking violent books. And you know, in books, they'll tell you things about like murder and like how to plan them and how to get away with them. And it gets into a lot more detail, and it gets a lot more strategical than it does in a video game. So, but you know, nobody's talking about how all these readers are out there fucking murdering people, right? Nobody's talking about that. Nobody talks about how 50 Shades of Grey should have been banned. Or did they talk about that? How 50 Shades of Grey should be banned? How books should be burned? How nobody should ever have to read again because violent books cause violent people? No, nobody says that. So when you see somebody do something in a video game, how are you going to say that? Or how do you say, okay, so when I go online and I argue and I say that people are becoming these corrupt, bad people, these fucked up people are getting fucked up in the heads because they're watching bad porn, and the porn industry is pushing all these fucked up things all the time, all these free porn videos of like a robber breaking in and raping somebody, or you know, teachers getting it on with their kids or something like that. How come when I go on and I argue and I say this is fucking people's minds up, this is bad for people, how come the only kinds of people who ever seem to step up and say, yes, this is wrong, are people who are immediately labeled as like super Christian or like super religious or like conspiracy theorists? Tell me, how come there's never anybody, how come nobody ever steps up and says that, or, that's wrong? You know, maybe this guy's right, maybe this has a point. You know what people argue? They say, well, just because they saw it on the internet, they're going to do it. Right? So tell me, if the porn industry isn't making rapists, if the porn industry isn't creating incest, if the porn industry is not making all these fucked up people, okay, then how are video games making people violent? If somebody goes and watches some fucked up illegal porn for free on or God damn it, I'm gonna bleep that out. I don't wanna put out any specific porn sites. I fucking hate that. Fucking free advertising for them. No, fuck them. Okay, so if you go to somebody goes to a porn site and they watch some really fucked up porn, how come nobody's saying that porn is making them into bad people? No, people just say whatever, just because they saw something online isn't going to turn them into like a bad person. Like just because you watch some kind of video online, just because you watch some fake incest on the internet doesn't mean you're going to actually, you know, end up incestual, right? Or if somebody goes and watches that shit on the internet, nobody's gonna say like, oh, you must want that in real life, right? Because you saw it, because you saw a fake version of it, so you must want that in real life, right? No. See, here's the thing: double standards. If it applies to one, if it doesn't apply to one, then it can't apply to the other. People don't want to go around actually fucking doing this shit to people, or they're not going to, just because they see it in a video game, just because they act it out in a video game. It's just a visceral experience, right? Just like porn, right? So it just pisses me off when people are like that. They just... It's the entertainment double standards. It's the double standards in media. I'm just graffitiing a cooking pan with olive oil right now. it's the double standard of media. You know, for some reason, people can watch a movie and not turn into some kind of violent psychopath. What they can't do is play a video game and not turn into some kind of psychopath for some reason. It just doesn't make sense. It's just double standard. For some people are just attacking video games for no reason. For a reason. Probably because it makes you smarter. Or maybe it's one of the other industries trying to... So, no, let's take away all the video games so you spend all your money on movies instead. And watch more porn instead. No, don't do that. No. That's just bullshit, because you've got so many people playing Fortnite, yet how many of these people playing Fortnite are going out and fucking brutally slaughtering each other, right? How many people watching Hunger Games, or how many people watching the Avengers? How come nobody watching the Avengers is going out with like a giant metal shield and fucking, busting skulls open? How come nobody's going out with a big hammer and smashing it into people? Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like obviously one thing doesn't cause the other. Just because you watch something doesn't mean that you want it. Like, there are movies that are supposed to be like, some kind of must-see movies. There are movies that you're supposed to see, that everybody is supposed to see, and not seeing it, is supposed to be like crazy. Like, oh, how could you not have seen this movie? Do you live under a rock? There are supposed to be movies like that. There's supposed to be books like that. And there's supposed to be games like that. Yet, what nobody says... Well, what nobody says about movies or books is, because they watched this movie, or they read this book, they must want to do this thing in real life, right? So to everybody who watched Jason Bourne, everybody who watched the Jason Bourne movies, or everybody who read the Jason Bourne books, they all want to be assassins, right? Right? All of them. Every single one of them are training to be assassins. Everybody who's seen the movies, everybody who's read the books. Right? They're all going to go do violent stuff and fight the government, right? Because that's how it works, right? Because violent video games make violent people, right? Because if they see something on the media, they want to do it in real life, right? That means they're okay with it, right? Because somebody will play a violent video game, they're okay with just people going out and murdering people nonstop, right? Because people watch Hannibal Lecter, right? That TV show. Then people are okay with cannibalism, right? We're all cool with cannibalism. Everybody who's seen that is cool with cannibalism. Everybody who's done that wants to be a cannibal, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot go after somebody for something and be like, because they read this, or because they watched that, or because they play this. That means they want that thing. That means they're okay with that thing. That means they secretly want that thing in real life. Right? No. How many people are actually fucking cannibals because of that? How many people are like, wow, you know what? Maybe cannibalism's pretty fucking cool. No, maybe it's pretty fucking cool. Maybe we should all actually just be cannibals instead. Yeah. I bet all of them did. So you know what? I don't know what kind of fucking agenda people are pushing, but if you're gonna try to come to me and say that shit to me, boy, and then let me never ever get a hold of any of your history of anything. Never let me get a hold of anything that you ever looked at or read or watched. Because I'm going to take all that shit and I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to make you look like some kind of psychopathic monster because of what you watched, because of what you read. Bitch. That's right.